What's up, everybody? Hey, thank you for joining me here at the Real ResQ Podcast, where we have teamed up with Vertical Magazine and their Helicast platform for all your vertical podcast network. We're next to the Hangers Deep Podcast, the Helicopter Podcast, Vertical MRO, and the newest, the Valor Flight Crew Podcast. Go check them all out at verticalhelicast.com. Up next, we have a lot of people to say thank you for this in particular episode. It was all done at the Debrief, which was hosted by SR3 Rescue Concepts, and they had a ton of people involved, which include Breeze Eastern, Life Saving Systems, AXNES, the Helicopter Institute, Teledyne FLIR, and the Hoist Operator Union. Real shout out to everybody for making this happen and bringing it together. And we have some great little stories that are coming up, a little podcast takeover. So enjoy what we got coming up at the 2025 SR3 Debrief. My name is Jason Quinn. I am United States Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer number 500. These are my rescues and rescues from those of us that put our lives on the line every day so others may live. This is the Real ResQ Podcast. What's up, boys? What's up, motherfuckers?
Quinny, we can't match that enthusiasm.
Yes, you can.
We can try.
It's the Real ResQ Podcast.
Oh my goodness, live.
I am live with you guys. SR3 Rescue Concepts in the house.
We are here.
We're at Westlake Brewing. In Dallas.
Yeah.
We just got done with Onboard Systems Hoist and Winch User Conference. You guys had an amazing lecture. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome.
Appreciate that.
So we're here at the Debrief.
We are debriefing hard right now.
With beers in hand. You know what?
Of course.
Cheers, boys.
I'm gonna cheers you. Dave's out of the
I
lead.
just said I need to go get another beer.
Go get a bit. Hurry up.
I just crushed it. Dude, look at the line.
We can catch up.
It's terrible. All right. Well, cheers to you, buddy. One more.
Can't believe you guys did that without me having a beer.
Well,
you know what?
It's the quick or the dead around here, you know?
So I'll tell you what, boys. We're going to start this off. So we're going to record here live. And the goal is to just have people come in here. They're going to tell who they are.
Yeah.
Where they're from.
Yeah.
A training story. Or no, wait, sorry. A last rescue. And then a funny training story. And you guys all get to kind of take over this anytime you want.
Okay.
That's kind of
scary. No promises. Dude, do you know what you're doing here?
Yes, I do.
Are you aware of
exactly why I'm doing
you're
it?
about to unleash?
I'm just glad that it's documented.
I'm just
that
looking
you said
around.
it's okay for us to do it.
I'm looking around the room right now.
I concur.
We probably would have done it anyway.
You've made a catastrophic mistake.
That's all right. Hey, look at the camera real quick.
Fishy. Ahoy, sir.
Love it. All right. So, do you guys want to shout out to anybody? Because we'll kick this off. So, shout out to sponsors. Shout out to whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to. And there's a lot. So I'm trying to remember all the names. But
oh God, do we need to bring up Instagram?
No, we could. But I think I can probably get it off the top of my head. I think starting from the top, we have AXNES. We have Life Saving Systems. We have Breeze Eastern. We have the Real ResQ Podcast officially jumping in there and helping out. Helicopter Institute jumped in and helped us out as well. FLIR's on the list, and I feel like I might be missing one, but that's pretty close to all of them, I think, unless you can think of anyone else, Dave.
I can't, but if you want to double check,
I will, because they do really deserve a shout out.
They absolutely do.
They are making this whole thing possible, and we literally can't thank them enough. It's incredible. Hoist Operators Union.
Nice.
Is a sort of sponsor, sort of advocate. So they're kind of in the middle there somewhere. But the team at Hoist Operators Union, again, helping us with the promo and the publicity. They got a big platform, and those guys have been awesome as well. So couldn't be more stoked already. Looking around the room, such a good turnout, and just a good excuse to hang out with a bunch of cool folks.
It is. All right. Well, I told you guys the questions that we're gonna ask. So since you guys just got off a training class, because where were you guys training?
We were most recently in Honolulu.
And that was a long class.
Yeah, that was basically little over 5 weeks between now and it's March 9th. So we've been there for 5 weeks this year already.
Dang. That's really good.
Semi-Hawaiian now, I feel like. We do this everywhere.
The shaka.
The shaka, bro. Yeah.
All right. So, what's the funniest thing that happened over training?
Oh man.
Oh, dude, there's a bunch.
Okay. Well, let it ride, dude.
Can we
would
talk
say-
about the Prodigy?
I was just gonna say, so I
That would
can't
be the
give out
first
too
one.
much information right now
Secret
because
squirrel
it's still
stuff.
very mysterious. But yeah, the funniest thing came out of what is now a page that everyone on the Instagrams needs to follow, and it's called Prodigy Approved. And if you go to that page, you're gonna see a black and white picture of a guy
Of the
and it ju-
Prodigy?
of the Prodigy, if he exists. It's
Yeah,
he's
that is
kind of
to
like
be
a
confirmed.
mythical
know
beast. We don't
for
know
sure.
if he's actually real or not, but go follow Prodigy Approved on Instagram.
Okay.
And
A Hawaiian legend.
he is
The
a Hawaiian
question,
legend.
the question is he real or not?
if he exists.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That's
But-
a good story. We had a hoist operator who, when he was conning the aircraft, forward 100, forward 75, would always, every time, it wasn't 50, it was 50.
50?
Yeah, 50, forward
Like
50.
50 Cent?
Yeah, like 50 Cent. And I don't know why,
That's awesome.
but what an absolute legend. I always look forward to his conning because you knew it was coming, and it was like
And he was
forward
so
50. I was
good,
like,
too. He was
and
so
he was one of their
good.
best
It
hoist
was just
operators.
seamless.
Unreal. It was seamless.
But yeah, it was awesome flying around with him because he would always say that. Forward
Actually,
50.
no, and he actually definitely delivered my favorite moment. They have a saying in Hawaii when something's really good, they say it's cherry, bruh.
Cherry,
It's
bro.
cherry,
Cherry. It's cherry.
cherry,
Okay.
bruh. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, and we're mid hoist. He's like the hook's like 10 feet above the guy. And you know when you're like the hook's about to get right where it needs to, and you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
know it's coming.
Yep.
And he's like, like halfway, 3/4 out, approaching the ground. He's like, "Oh, it's effing cherry, bruh." Right in the middle of the noise. I was like, that is actually my favorite moment of the whole
Yeah.
thing. Same dude. He delivered the goods, man. This guy was a legend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely the most recent best moment from training for sure.
Awesome. Well, you guys are more than welcome. Come on here and drop anything else you want from here on out.
We'll do
Well,
our best.
we'll have. I'm trying to think of the ones that are like PG rated for you.
Nah.
Because there's a lot of good ones,
That's
but there's
true.
not a lot of ones that I could probably say
Dave,
in the
you-
presence of children and women.
You know this audience. You know the audience
Oh,
that
dude,
listens
I
to this
know, but
podcast.
I'm trying
Dave.
to keep it professional.
Dave, I'm lost.
Oh, stop it! Stop it! We.
Oh,
Here's a
let
good
it,
one.
you gotta let
Dude,
that ride now.
you ever flown around in night vision goggles in terrain that's kind of it just all looks the same?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's easy to kind of lose your way back to the target.
Okay.
Yes, we did have that on one of them. It's it's nighttime, and
This was
we
good.
just inserted some guys.
These guys
and,
are working hard.
and it's down
too.
in
Like,
it's down in a
oof.
pocket of trees. The canopy all looks pretty much the same, and it's dark. And we depart. Then Rob's debriefing his guy in the back, and you know the routine.
some
You know the
time.
routine. It's like
Yep.
hoist operator
Like make
instructor goes
it a long
first.
circuit. We've got a bit to talk
Yeah,
about.
and he's
here.
got a little bit to talk about, and so I'm waiting my turn, but we're flying away, and eventually, like I kind of give that hand signal that I give. It's like, hey, go ahead and turn, like let's
start
work
the
our
loop
way
around.
around, and he's just cruising. And then I didn't want to interrupt him in the back, but so I just said, I'm like, hey, bro, go ahead and turn, nothing. And then we keep trucking along, and so now I'm like, dude, we're like getting far away from this place.
We're in another zip
And
code
then-
at this point.
Yeah. And then finally, I said, hey, bro, go ahead and turn downwind. Like, let's get back to that target area. And nothing. And I'm like, shit, he's having a stroke or something now at this point. Like, this is bad. And then there's one little break in Rob's discussion in the back, and he just real quiet, real soft spoken. He says, Dave, I'm lost. I said, what? He's like, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm at. I said, Roger that. I got the controls, brother.
Back we go again. Oh man.
Flew us back,
Oh
got
my
us in a
God.
rest position. I'm like, all right, you got the controls, brother. We're all lined up. We're good to go. It's easy to do, though. I mean, we gave him some grief, but
So
I
funny.
mean,
That's
you
awesome.
can see how it happens, right? So but
Dave,
it was funny. It was
All right.
funny. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys sharing that, man.
that was a couple of good ones for
Oh.
sure.
That was good.
I
There's
think we
lots
leave
more
it-
to come, but
I
that was a
think
good
we,
one.
we leave
Yeah.
it to the people now, I guess, is the
All right.
move, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, whoever wants to come on and share a story, that's all it's all about.
You need some victims up here.
Let's go. We'll go get them.
We'll start grabbing them for you,
Okay.
buddy.
All right,
I
Quinny.
appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for your
Thanks,
support.
guys. Heck yeah.
Test. Hey, Jack.
Well, hey,
Dogs.
welcome to the Hangar Z. Real Rescue or Helicopter Podcast. I don't know what this is. What is this?
I'm not quite sure.
It doesn't really matter.
Steph, what are we doing here?
It's the SR3.
It's the SR3 podcast.
SR3 podcast.
It's the
There we go.
inaugural SR3 podcast.
All right.
Brought to you by SR3.
Oh, that sounds great. This looks like more like a boondoggle to me.
It's like a goat rope or something else. But
It's a goat rope.
yeah,
So
And
this,
when Quinny sees us over here, we're in trouble.
nah, he's not paying attention.
Yeah, look at him.
I've been
There
walking,
he is.
I've
He's
been
right
walking,
there.
I've been walking around for like an hour looking for a bum or a dog to sit over here. But I mean,
Look.
there are bums out there. I'm just not willing to go out there and bring them in.
Yeah, look,
But
I think
I'm close.
you're close.
So, being that this is the first SR3 podcast,
Yeah.
Steph, you have to be the host.
Yeah, I'll be happy
there we go.
to be the host here. So, welcome to my podcast.
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. What should we talk about?
We got Rob Monday walking by.
Yeah,
he's
there's
a
Rob.
sexy
Rob.
beast.
There's
It's his
Rob.
birthday out
Rob,
here.
Yeah.
No,
Is it your
was
birthday,
his
Rob?
birthday earlier.
I see Kimmy. Kimmy's over here.
Kimmy
Everybody
G's
wave
here.
at Kimmy.
Hi, Kimmy.
Oh, yeah. We have just been outed. Quinny has just seen what we're up
He
to.
saw us.
Yeah.
Quinny's on.
Quinny's looking over here.
All right. So, well,
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes.
Oh,
Act
geez.
official.
Okay.
Act official.
Hey, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for. And we're back.
You guys are awesome.
Hey,
I guess
Quinny.
he's all right with it.
whatever.
He's gone.
Yeah. Well, so here I got a topic.
Okay.
It's an official SR3 first podcast, and Tony Weber is our guest. And Tony, I
Yes.
think you've come to the end of a long career. So let's have some reflections on your time at San Diego Sheriff's.
Well, I don't want to rain on Jack and John's parade because this is going to get talked about. But yeah.
Oh, did I steal some thunder
Well,
there?
It's okay, it's
it
okay.
could be like
It's all
a
right.
little pre, but yeah, after 42 years with San Diego Sheriff and 32 flying, I'm going to be semi-retired.
Wow.
42.
I know. Yeah, I flew with the Wright brothers.
You know, I think I've said this before. I don't know where in that 42 that you and I first crossed paths. Back in,
I know where it was at.
Yeah, I know where it was at. I just don't remember when it was at.
What was the name of that rescue company when we were in the same
it was,
class?
what was it? Rescue 3 International,
3.
the Aquatic Helo Rescue.
Way back in the day, we found out that we were in Austin at a Rescue 3 class, and we were both in it, took the whole class, and it wasn't until, 30 years later we figured out
Yeah.
we were in the same class.
That's pretty cool.
There's
Yeah.
two things you guys said. I'm thankful you said something different. The first thing you said was where you first met, and I was very curious to
How
hear
did
what that
you two
was.
meet? Yeah.
And then you said, well, we found out something about each other, and I wasn't exactly sure where this was going. But it went
It all worked out.
It's a PG podcast. We gotta keep it
How
at
do we
least-
mute that out?
Yeah. Oh, no.
let's see what this does. That's not it.
That looks like a DJ type thing.
It is.
That's
Oh,
the
you know what?
trombone.
Here we go. It was supposed to be this.
No.
No, that's not working.
Oh,
Sorry,
no,
Quinny.
that's the trombone and the rim shot noise effect.
The rusty trombone. What does that do?
Well,
no, this is
Wow.
going
Google
downhill.
that. Don't do it on a work computer.
Is that like the Dirty Sanchez?
Pretty- it's in the same.
We're messing all this stuff.
Wait, what does this one do?
Well, that one's the air horn. So, anything you want to say in your reflection? Are you sad? Do you feel like
no, I'm totally not sad. I mean, the timing was right. Got to do a lot of good things that I'll talk about with John and Jack and some of the incidents, but obviously met a lot of good people along the way. You make lifelong friendships like with you guys. So no regrets. Timing's right. And again, it'll be a good way to ease out of it because I'm only going to be semi-retired. I'll still get to fly afterwards. Still get to work with the SR3 guys. So yeah, looking forward to it. Doing
Win-win.
an occasional podcast with you guys.
Yep, winning.
So, yeah.
I mean,
And
I
the
like the
biggest
part
thing,
where
going out on my own terms. Yeah.
That sounds very familiar. You talked about this last year.
Yeah.
But you'll know when the time is right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden,
Finally
you
felt
knew.
right. Yeah.
Yep, good. I'm
So-
proud of you.
Yeah. I appreciate it, buddy.
When you look over the course of all the time you spent going to conferences, I feel like what SR3 has done here is pretty unique. You know,
Oh, yeah.
there's
Yeah.
always industry parties, but I feel like it's always an OEM. It's one of these you know companies that has a major marketing budget. And SR3, while I'm sure they have a great marketing budget, as I'm looking at Dave, they've done a really good job of like the guerrilla marketing concept. You know, like the best marketing is done through word of mouth. You know, SR3 has created an amazing product through the training they've done. They go to these agencies and they make friends. They people buy into the programs. You all work there, which is really cool. Like, you know, when you look at the different agencies you guys work for, it's not like you're coming from one agency and only have one dimension or one viewpoint of what's happening. You're taking instructors who literally are across the world and bring them into these classes, which I think is really cool. But I'm getting off topic. What I really want to talk about is this particular event and all the years that you went to these things. Was there something like what SR3 has provided?
You're talking about like this event tonight?
Yeah, this particular thing.
I would say there were times on a smaller scale that when it was still Goodrich, at the end of the second day, they would say, hey, let's go meet up in the hotel bar. And it'd be about for an hour or two. Not everybody would show up. And it was on a smaller scale. And you get a group of, some of the attendees, and we would talk about, hoist rescue. But you fast forward to, this is what, our second year doing this?
Second year, yeah.
It's on a bigger scale to where they kind of marketed it a little bit, put it out on social media. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think almost every ticket was sold.
Yeah, I think we were 11 shy of sold out.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
So for the second year, look around you, this place is packed, and it's not all, but mostly the rescue world from all around the world. And you got people from every business, every country. I mean, look at it. You got people from Australia, everywhere. So this is a very unique event, and you can tell if you look around, everybody's having a good time networking.
We were just talking about this, how as an outsider from the search and rescue world, this is a tight community, and you can see it in this room. And we were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were
a few
talking
minutes
about
ago.
it over there.
It's a really tight community. Everybody knows each other. You work, share, teach each other, learn from each other. It's really cool.
Yeah, everybody in this room, if they don't know each other, they know one of our friends or somebody we work with.
That's cool.
And then if you get in, what's interesting about coming here after being in class, everybody kind of lets their hair down a little bit. You have a few beers. I'm not saying if people are getting inebriated, but this is where you make your networking and your contacts when you get to something like this. Would you agree?
Absolutely. For me, I think it's really cool because as you walk around and you may not know somebody, but you ask somebody a question, I don't have the answer, but I'm like, oh, hey, you know who you should talk to about that? You should go talk to Tony Weber. He does a ton of firefighting. He can, give you. And so that's what I see going on. I see people, helping in others network, which, is cool because it's not like, a cell where it's so secular where people just don't know what's going on. There's, the thing that we all came here for, which is encouraged, which is we got to get out. We got to talk to somebody so that we don't keep making the same mistakes. So you don't reinvent the wheel. And so, and you see, as we sit here and you look out across this, you see people from, there's a buddy of mine, Trevor Stokes, talking to another buddy of mine, Oliver Kreutzer. You got Pflugerville Fire Department in Austin, Texas, talking to Switzerland. And that's cool. Yeah, you look out and you see these people like, never
really
would have crossed paths if we hadn't come here tonight.
Yeah, where else would that happen?
Yep.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it just doesn't. And that's the part that I think is, for these particular events, is super cool. From the conference today to everything else is, people from all aspects, from different parts of the world are coming together here. We're having a couple of drinks and no one's got an ego and everybody's trying to learn and talk and meet new people and figure out like, oh, hey, how do y'all do this? And what do you do for this? And that's really cool to kind of watch it all gel and merge together.
Well, to take that to another level, you got SR3 Rescue giving the event, right? And earlier in the night, who walks through the door? One of the competitors, ARS. And they're all at the tables here.
They're hanging
no
out.
Animosity. Everybody's getting along. There's enough business to go around. And that's pretty cool to see.
That's really nice.
What? Yeah.
I think it speaks to just the fact that we want everyone to get better, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter where you're doing it, but as long as you're trying to get better, that's the ultimate goal.
Yep.
So it's cool to see that, like you said, like the ego's gone. We're really just wanting our industry to grow, which
Right.
I think is great.
Yeah, and personally, I don't care who you go to for training. Could be SR3, could be ARS. Go for something that fits your mission, and if it's safe and it's going to make you more efficient, and it's going to take you where your unit needs to go, have at it.
There you go.
Make
Good
a good
philosophy.
choice. Make a good choice.
So I'm going to interject with it's the Real ResQ Podcast.
Oh yeah.
So I have to ask you a question.
Sure.
Of looking back at the course of your career, this is a question we won't ask necessarily in the Hangar Z podcast. We'll ask a variant of this. But for Quinny, when you look over the course of your career, what's the one rescue that comes to mind that you were a part of that's the most impactful? The one thing that stands out was like, wow, if we hadn't been there, this would have turned out differently.
Well, it wasn't a rescue, so I'm going to have to go off script here a little bit.
Okay.
So one of the things that happened in San Diego, and it was more like a tactical event where we used helicopters. So there was a place in Chula Vista called Congressional Towers, 16-story high-rise, middle of Chula Vista. They had an active shooter on one of the top floors. We did not have our 205s at the time, so we just had our 500s. And people throwing stuff. I felt something.
Incoming.
Oh, wow.
Incoming.
They're not tomatoes, so we're good.
So there's an active shooter. SWAT guys always want to go from the top to bottom to clear. So we skid rode SWAT guys 2 at a time on a 500, towed in at the edge, couldn't land. And these guys had to shimmy up the skid 2 at a time, get on the roof. And we did that till we got 18 guys on the roof. So there's one of the things
That's
that
pretty
stood
cool.
out. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And watching these SWAT guys shimmy past my open door, had no doors on, you couldn't have fit a pin up their butt. Because they were looking 16 stories down, and it stuck in my mind. That's just one of many.
All right, we're gonna edit that out so that we can use it on Hangar Z when we interview you on the floor.
So what you're saying, there's no
that's
stories you
really
want to tell
cool.
Quinny.
What's that?
There's no stories you want to tell Quinny.
Oh, no. Quinny can't use any of this. It's for you guys.
Love you, Quinny.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, back to you, host. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not nearly as good at hosting as you are. So, no, if I thought about it while Tony was talking, I was trying to think of something that was really impactful or a call to me, and it wasn't a rescue. And I was a full-time flight paramedic for about 23, 24 years. We did search and rescue, and while I can think back and if I recall, I can remember certain rescues and I remember things we did. I still think to this day, the most impactful call, the one that bothers me and I think about had nothing to do with search and rescue. It was a normal EMS call. And I remember we went to this house and they didn't have power. They didn't have running water or something like that. And it was a medical call. And I remember it was for a young girl who was pregnant and, they didn't have a lot of food and stuff like that. And that was probably the most impactful call for me. Even thinking about it now, it kind of bothers me. And I think everything else, I'm in a position if we're doing hoist work or doing firefighting or normally I'm in a position to be able to help somebody get them to the hospital. And she didn't really need to go to the hospital. She didn't need anything. And I felt just completely helpless. And I think as I look back, that's the one that kind of still bothers me and haunts me because I couldn't help them.
Yeah.
They didn't need to go to the hospital. They didn't rescue. They didn't need anything. It was just we're poor. We don't have a lot of food. We don't have water. And I did what I could. Afterwards, it bothered me so much that I got everybody at the station to get donations, and then we took some food and stuff to their house, and gift cards and stuff like that because she was going to have a baby, and so I did that. But as I think back on my career, that's the one that really sticks out and bothers me. The rescues and stuff, I can recall them, and I think about things I did, and I was like, man, that was really cool. I had a good time. But that's the one haunting call I think I have.
Yeah, I think
Now I've dragged the mood down, so Tony, tell a joke.
Oh, no.
That's good.
So when they ask about a rescue, it's the same thing. We've had some great hoist rescues. But when things that you ask throughout a career that stick in your mind, I agree that something like that just sticks with you. And, that putting those guys on the roof of the high rise, that has always stuck with me. And then I think anybody here, sitting here, Jack, John, we probably have a couple that you can't unsee. There's a few of those. And I have several of those. Again, you're not going to bring the mood down, but we'll keep it positive. But I know you probably got one that you would share.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to bring the mood down either.
No.
Yeah.
But we all have at least one.
I think the problem is we're problem solvers, right? You like to go somewhere and have a positive effect and see a positive outcome as a result of the thing that you do. And that's what I love about rescue work is that you guys, in a lot of cases, step in and something positive comes as a result of what you do. You know, putting the guy on the hoist and going down and taking someone's out of peril's way to save their life, essentially. That's great stuff. And that's where in law enforcement, you don't always get that. You know, in law enforcement and EMS, you see a lot of the downside of the world, which is tough, you know. So I won't go down my stories because I don't want to, you know, sour the mood, but I do enjoy the rescue stories for what we're talking about, the positive outcomes of these situations. Jack, anything from you?
I don't want to bring it down either. But what I will say is that a lot of those stories, there's a lot of those stories in this room right now. There's thousands of stories.
Thousands of them.
And you think about just in this room right now, as we're sitting here, the thousands of lives that have been affected by a good hoist work and a good search and rescue, a good medical care that got to them quickly because it was in an aircraft. And that's impactful as you look around this room. And and there's some very special people in this room.
Oh, yeah.
Search and rescue is a big part of that, you know.
You think about, you know, the helplessness or the powerlessness people feel when they're lost in the woods and they're with a family member who's got a broken ankle and they're terrified, like, how are we going to get out or something like that. And as you look around this room and you think, like, how many of those people got home? And you're right. You could ask almost anyone you see, except for maybe these two characters. You could ask anyone you see to tell you a story, and then you just back out and you think, like, those people will remember that story for the rest of their lives. And that, you know, I always thought that was really cool, that the things we do, while sometimes it's not meaningful or it's a simple rescue, it's not a big deal to you, but it echoes throughout their lives and continues on. And to have played a part in that, you know, your small little part in that has always been like something I've been really impressed by or proud to be a part of, that, you know, I can help somebody in their time of need. So
you know, that's a common theme that we've talked about before, how as cops, you interact with a lot of people and it's routine. It's a nothing. It doesn't, you don't even remember it. They do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They do. And it's so true. In the search and rescue world, I bet it's huge that a very uneventful rescue to them meant everything in their lives. Everything. Where they tell that story hundreds of times a year, and you might not even remember it because it was not a big deal. It was something you do every day.
you think about how many, probably Tony more than me and you guys and stuff, like broken ankle, just somebody twisted an ankle. And for you, it's like, oh yeah, we went out, we hoisted this person, we took him back, we turned him over.
Very routine.
Very routine, no big deal. It wasn't challenging. But like for them, like, oh my God, I got lifted up. I was 1,000 feet in the air, and they're telling this story, and it's a huge deal to them. And yeah, by the next day, you're thinking of something else.
Yep.
But for them, it just echoes throughout their lifetime.
And they tell that story over and over. They say, the pilot was so handsome. His name was Tony. I'm going to name my first child after him.
T-Dub.
Wow, this is going downhill, guys.
Gotta bring it up.
Rhubarb. Somebody pull the fire alarm.
Rhubarb.
There's one question that I put Jack on the spot, I don't know, 6 months, a year or so ago, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, Steph.
Good. I know where he's going with this.
Yeah,
Good.
let's go. Let's do it.
No, hang on.
This is good.
Well, the problem is that the question I'm going to ask you, I don't think there's a way you can even answer it. So I'll just tell you what I asked Jack, and I'll ask you.
Okay.
So the question I asked Jack's been teaching a class for how many years, Jack?
25 years.
25 years. And his class is one of the most impactful law enforcement classes that exists, whether it's public safety aviation or law enforcement related, just in general, it's one of the most impactful classes. You walk away from that class and there's stuff you're taking away from it that are actually putting bad guys behind bars. And that's the goal of his class, is teaching folks how to put people who deserve to be in jail. So I said, as a result of your class, over all the classes you've taught, how many people would you say have been put behind bars as a result of your class? Well, I'm sorry, it was a two-part question.
Yeah.
The first part was, how many students have you had?
Yeah.
And the second part was, if you think about all those students, how many people have been put behind bars as a result of the students applying the lessons that you taught over the course of your classes? So for you guys, when you think over the course of all the classes you've been a part of, can you think of how many students you've had? And then if you were to guess, based on those number of students, how many rescues they've been a part of and the positive outcome they've been a part of because of the instruction that you've taught?
That's good. It's
It's
hard. It's a hard question. Isn't
It's
it?
almost impossible to
It is.
answer because
Yeah, you'd have to guess. I mean,
yeah,
really, you'd have to
make
swag it.
Yeah, I really, and any number I threw out I could probably throw a number out and be like, that's it. And it seems too low. And then you're like, you're just being modest. And so I threw a high number out. You're like, oh no, you're bragging. I don't know. And I think we talked about this when we were in San Diego. Like, that's probably where I get, as my career, I'm not quite where Tony's at, but I'm taking notes on how to retire.
You're pretty darn close.
I'm close, right?
Hey, I'm going to write a guide on how to slide out on your own terms.
Send it over. But, I think I talked about this before. Like, the most satisfaction I get now, I see, like, things, and you think about, like, how many people did you help? And it's almost like an exponential thing, because the two guys who were taunting me are the two guys that I helped become instructors. And so now they're teaching everybody. And so how do you do it? Like, I taught this guy, and now I taught one guy, and he taught two guys, right? And the 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, and it goes on, and somehow it comes back, a little bit. You play your small part. So, that has always been, something that I don't know how to answer it. Like, I couldn't tell you how many people I've helped, but I know that it's lots. Like,
That's right.
So many, and you train somebody, and they go off and they train somebody else, and that person eventually becomes an instructor. And, all I hope is that at the end of the day that I gave them the tools they needed to solve a problem in the heat of the moment.
Excellent answer.
And that's, my biggest thing to think about is, I hope I prepared you through the things that I taught and the way I gave your class, and that I empowered you to go out and impact someone's life, with the hope that one day you'll do the same thing I did. You'll realize that I can't keep doing this. It's not my client time anymore, and I'm going to help somebody else do it. And I hope you reach that point where you think, I want to pass on all my knowledge to somebody else, because I want those guys to be better than I am. And that's, really what I'm always, as I train a new instructor or I deal with somebody, I always want the student to be better than me. Yep. I want to eventually get to the point where I'm taking a class from Tony as a student, where at one point I was his instructor, and I'm like, man, that guy's learned so much, and now I'm learning from him. And that, fills you with a sense of pride as an instructor.
It's a great answer.
What you're saying is leave it better than you found it. And we talk about that a lot.
Absolutely. It's funny. I used to work at this one EMS station a long time ago, and they had this saying on the door, and everybody used to laugh at them, but they had the nicest EMS station in the thing. And it says, 30 minutes of work a day makes this place great for the next 23 and a half hours, right? They were there on 24-hour shifts.
Yeah, wow.
And
absolutely.
That was their motto, and it reflected in everything they did. They came in and they left it better than they found it. And that's one of those things I think about. Like, I want it to be better. When I leave, I want to know that place is leaps and bounds ahead of where it was when I got there. And then I hope that someday when I check back in and I look at it, I'm like, man, those guys are doing some really cool stuff. Like, I never would have done that, but man, look how far they've come.
Yep.
And, there's a sense of pride. It's being a part of a chain that extend. Like, I didn't start the chain where I worked. When I was at Travis County, that chain was started a long time before me. And all I wanted to do was not be the weak link. And I wanted the chain to continue long time after I'm gone.
It's a great answer. I wish I had a more intelligent answer now. That was a great answer. I really was.
Yeah.
That's the beer talking. I got to be honest.
You did great.
That's the beer talking.
That's a hard question.
It is almost impossible to answer.
It is nearly impossible. As a matter of fact, you'll never know. It's impossible for you to ever know the impact that you had, because there's no way to count it. You know what I mean? It's
you really don't know.
You did your thing. You hope you did something good. You are, and it's happening out there. You just won't even know about it ever.
Yeah.
Fantastic answer. I loved it.
Yeah, sometimes you get, most of the time when you're on a rescue or you do something good via hoist, pull people out, I would say 80, 90% of the time, you never hear from those people again.
Right.
But every once in a while, they either show up to your workplace or the air base, or 2 or 3 months later, a letter arrives and you open it up and you read this letter that person that you pulled out of some god-awful place, and you got 2 pages of heartfelt thank you. I mean, you talk about, you feel pretty good about that.
Oh yeah.
And when we do this, we don't expect people to come and thank us in person or buy us gifts, but every once in a while when you get something like that, that's pretty rewarding.
I think the story you just told, Steph, what it illustrates to me is what you, Jack, you, Steph, and you, Tony, all three of you stepped out of your comfort zone and made a conscious decision to say, I'm going to start teaching. One day you made that decision. And when you look at this pyramid you've created, and I'll call it a pyramid scheme, but that's not really what it is. But that's how you kind of described it. But it really illustrates how that one decision that you made really impacts our community as a whole. This community that's here, but not just here. Look at the global impact that you've had as a result of all of you guys. You guys have all taught internationally, and that's really cool. So just, I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is to encourage people. You find yourselves in a position where you're thinking, I've got this desire to teach, but I don't know if I should pursue it. But look at what these three men just talked about and the impact that they've had over the course of their instruction in their career, because they decided, I'm going to step forward and I'm going to make an impact. I'm going to do, you called it your small part. It's not a small part really, but it is. It's one small step that you took forward and it impacted a lot of people.
Well, it builds.
Well, it's like the snowball you push down, and it starts small, and by the time it gets to the bottom of the hill, it's, a giant boulder or whatever it is. For people who want to be an instructor, I think sometimes when you look out and you think, like, to get to where Tony is an impossible thing. But what I would say is, Tony didn't walk in one day and suddenly start teaching everything. It starts with something small, and anyone can do that. You can start like, hey, let me show you how to do this. And you start off being an instructor, because even if you're not in that position at your organization, you teach somebody how to do something. It could be simple. You can take the smallest task and you're like, hey, let me show you how to do that. And you help somebody do something better. And over the course of your career, the little thing you do that maybe you weren't even assigned, it's just, let me show you how to do this something better. That snowballs. And then you start doing more stuff and you become better at teaching and you refine your teaching method. And at the end of the day, like, you end up like Tony Weber over there. And you're a master instructor over there. And
no, the master instructor is on the left side of this table, and his name is Jack Shonley, and we all know that. I mean, come on, how many times have you taught that class internationally, and it's full every time? So, dude, I bow to the king. You are the
You're
man.
too nice to me. I will say that the last time I was driving by Pelican Bay in Crescent City, John and I were talking on the phone. And Pelican Bay, for those that don't know, is the worst of the worst in the state penitentiary system in California. And we were driving by Pelican Bay, and I said, man, I'm proud of how many people are in there because of me, and we laughed about it, but I was only half joking.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
it was like, I know there's people in there because of tactics that I learned and then taught, and other people will teach. I mean, it's rewarding. It's different than the search and rescue where somebody's coming and saying, thank you for saving my life. But looking inside that razor wire and seeing these guys, sitting there doing push-ups, I was like, yeah, that was very rewarding, to see them in there.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Well, I feel like the sentiment of the conversations, we're focusing on Tony.
Yeah, don't focus on
as we
me.
should.
No.
well, you're the one retired.
Yeah,
we have to
retiring
focus
guy.
on you.
Don't focus on me. Just
Stay in
stand
the
out the
limelight
door.
while you can.
I forget who it was, but somebody referred to Tony as the burning bush of firefighting training.
It was that guy.
So is that a term that goes away when you retire?
I don't know, or you hand it to somebody else. I don't know. Yeah, you're gonna have to
That's
give
good.
somebody else that tag.
You pass the
pass
torch,
the
or
torch.
bush, as
Yeah.
it were.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're going to continue training in retirement. You're going to continue doing a lot of stuff that you're doing currently. So while the term retirement actually applies to you, you are retiring. You're not really retiring.
Right.
But for reflection and for encouragement for the folks, like, again, who are in a position where they're considering, like, maybe I should step up and train. What advice do you have for those folks? What would you say to the person that's like, I want to do this, but I'm not sure? Like, give us your insight, because you've been doing it for a long time.
You talking about specifically training, like training others?
Yep.
I would say, and I think Steph and Jack would agree with this, and you too, for any training that you've given, when you start getting up in front of a group of people, and it doesn't matter if they're new or they've been doing this a while, you actually hope that you have enough experience and have something to say that people want to listen to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
if you don't have that, and if you don't have something that you can truly pass along to people that are learning a craft, or you get up in front of this group at, a users conference, and it's a group full of very experienced people, you just hope you get up there and honestly, you say something that they want to hear, and if they take away one nugget,
One thing.
if you like, I go to these things and I go, hey, I learned something new today. I'm going to take that back to the unit. If you can be that person and pass one thing along, is they may have heard what you have to say a million times, but if you give them something new and you walk away and you feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
I tell people one of the most rewarding things I'll go with the aerial firefighting class. I usually give a 1-week class, and I'm next to this person that's never done any firefighting. It could be a bucket, could be a tank, high power settings on every lift off the pond. And you do 4 days with them, again, with all the pilots. And then I've decided to do this a long time ago. On the last day of the training, I get out of the helicopter and I pair up 2 of the students and I call in their drops, and there's nothing more rewarding to see them. You're on the ground now as the incident commander, and they're doing everything that you taught them for 4 days, and they're killing it. There's nothing better than that. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, I think towards the end, like you're training a hoist operator or even a rescuer at some point, and they're doing their thing and you're watching them. It's that point at which sometime when I get out and I'll be like, all right, I'll be your rescuer now, or I'll let you rescue me. You're empowering, you're showing them, like, I have taught you, I've given you the foundation for your career. I, help you build the basics, and I trust enough. I'm going to, place my life, if you want to be dramatic, in your hands.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, like, when you do that, for me, I hope when I do it, I hope it builds the confidence of them, or it shows them how I feel about their abilities.
Oh, it does.
And I hope that that's what they take from that, is like, I'm putting you in this position because even, I would say almost every hoist operator I ever trained when I was at Travis County would always tell you, like, I don't think I'm ready. But I don't think anybody ever gets, I hope no one ever gets to the point where I'm ready. They always feel like they're not. And at some point, you are ready. And I'm going to push you, and I'm going to show you're ready, because now I'm going to take this on. You're going to rescue me. You're going to hoist me. And I'm going to trust that you're ready. And I know that probably at times freaks people out, or maybe puts them a little at ease. Like, oh, I got to hoist my instructor. But I'm like, you're good. You've got the fundamentals. You know what you're doing. Just do that and you'll be fine.
I'll tell you from the pilot standpoint, it freaked me out when my CFI said, you're ready for my private and my commercial check ride. I'm like, I am not ready.
Yeah.
There's no way. But you're right. Like what you point out, like you as an instructor see the potential in the student that the student doesn't see in themselves, right? So Jack, you spent a lot of time in that CFI, and you have in the CFI seat as well. How many students have you had that said, I'm not ready, but they are?
Yeah, I know they're ready because I was in the same situation.
That's right.
First rescue, my instructor, cliff rescue, I said those same words. I am not ready. I said, this is what I said to him. 2,400 feet up on the cliff face. I go, hey, we're going to land in the park and switch seats? He goes, nope. I go, and he says, you're ready. And I'm telling you, I pulled it off because he was next to me. Once again, you could not fit a pin up my butt. I sucked up a butt cushion, but at the end of the day, we finished it.
Yep. It's a good feeling.
I didn't think I could do that. And he
proved
had
it
the
to you.
confidence, and he talked me through it.
That's right.
So I think we've all been in that situation.
Oh, yeah. I used to take students. We'd have 2 students assigned to us, and we'd get to a point where I would get in the back seat of the helicopter, and I would have them fly me on a cross country. We'd go to Santa Maria. We might have gone to Harris Ranch for lunch for some tri-tip, and maybe they bought.
On the company
I
dime.
heard there's tri-tip there.
Yeah, there is tri-tip there. But that was a huge confidence booster for them. Hey, the instructor's not up here to do anything now. It's the 2 students, and the instructor's in the back seat. He can't touch the controls. He can give you advice, but he can't save you. Huge confidence builder for those students. So everything that you're saying here about that, I think that's, letting them hoist you. Yeah, I think that's really cool. That's a smart thing to do. It's a good part of training.
So, we've all been in the same boat. It's a student-instructor thing. But you always have to think back. You were the student at one point,
Yep.
and you were in the same
Yep.
boat. And so it kind of resonates in the same manner.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember the first couple of hoists I did were horrible.
Yeah.
Like, and I never thought, I was like, there's no way I can ever do this. And I had an instructor who worked with me and just kept doing it. And when he was like, you're good, just keep doing what you're doing. He was patient and worked with me. And I remember thinking like, man, there's no way I'll ever learn this skill. Like, do we have to do this? Maybe I'll just be a rescuer.
Yeah.
Like, I think I could do that. And it was hard. And, you know, yeah, I look at it and I think, man, watching folks do it is so cool.
Hey, Chuck Yeager was a student pilot one time. Don't ever forget that. Chuck Yeager
It's true.
was a student pilot
I laugh, but it's
at
true.
one time.
We're
Somebody
not in
taught
his
him.
league.
I know we're not, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is he was a student pilot, making mistakes. And then he ends up being the legend. I mean,
Yeah.
but he did. Nobody knew that when he was, initially flying. Everybody screws up, makes mistakes, learns from them, hopefully, and progresses. And putting confidence into your students is really important.
Yeah, but
It's good time.
would you agree that all four of us had very long careers? Mine probably longer than it needed to be.
Oh, way longer.
But I know. Flew with the Wright brothers. I got it. But
Hey, we
Do you-
didn't
do
say
you-
that
do you-
once. It was just you.
yeah. So do you guys realize how lucky we were
Oh, yeah.
to be able to do this?
Yes,
I mean, honestly,
very lucky.
I mean, that
a
was
lot of people didn't get to do this.
that was a theme every day on a flight. You look at your partner and be like,
Yep.
dude, we're getting paid to do this.
Reality check.
Yeah,
Look what we're
Especially
doing.
you. I see
Yeah.
those 2-ship flights you guys do over the bay at San Diego.
Oh, man.
I'm like, oh,
Reality check.
Somebody got
Yep.
in the right line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which of the Wright brothers did you like? Did you get along with one
You
of
know
them
what?
more than the other?
I was friends with both of them,
Were
and,
you?
and I treated them equally. But
That's
thank
very
you for
nice.
asking, Jack.
No, that's really
Appreciate
nice.
that.
That's the
Yeah.
kind of guy you are,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I love it. That's what I thought you were going to say.
I mean, when you shot it out with Wyatt Earp, how did that go?
Not well. I got the scars to prove it. He shot me in the buttocks.
Yeah.
Because I was running away.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody has to pull that out.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah.
Well, this inaugural issue or edition of
The
the SR3 podcast has gone
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad time.
Nice job, Steph.
We still haven't found any bums or dogs to sit up here and
No,
record with us, but
no.
one just walked through. It might have fit the bill and
No,
didn't. But
no.
anyways, I appreciate the fact that we all three kind of on a whim came over here and sat down
yeah.
and
Yeah,
talked
that
about
was
some
great.
pretty cool stuff.
That was fun.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
good.
some serious
I
spitballing.
yeah.
I sure hope that guy over there, Quinny, he
Yeah.
apprecies us upping his ratings.
Do you
by
think
us
this
all
is going to be a
before us
thumbs
sitting
up, thumbs up or thumbs down
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Quinny?
well,
He's ignoring us now.
He's thinking about
he went
CrossFit.
through- yeah.
He's thinking about how many chin-ups he did this
Hey,
morning.
do you guys think Quinny does CrossFit?
I think he does.
Yeah, look at that.
So
Wow.
maybe we should go around the room and do our best Quinny impression.
Oh, jeez.
Jack, why don't you start?
Hey!
Yeah.
We
I
love
don't, I
you,
don't have
Quinny.
an impression,
I
but
don't know that I could do a Quinny impression other than I could give you a big hug.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the energy to do a Quinny
Yeah,
impression.
no.
I don't. I don't
no,
have
you'd
his
have to
energy.
drink like 5 Red Bulls.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, your enthusiasm, Quinny, or what you put into this in this industry is
What's funny
infectious.
is-
I love it.
Sometimes he'll listen to this at one point, not realize he's
That we're
sitting
looking at him
15 feet
exactly.
from us and
Ignoring
we're
us.
talking about us, and he's completely ignoring us.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Hey, Quinny, I love you like a brother, but you are like the human version of a BB in a shoebox.
Oh, yeah.
See, when I look at Quinny, it reminds me of, squirrel.
yeah, squirrel.
Every
Yeah.
5 minutes, you're trying to talk to him. He's what's going on?
Shiny
Every,
objects.
every 5 minutes.
Come
on, Steph. I think it's more frequent.
I'm trying to be generous. The man's sitting 10 feet from us. I'm
He's-
trying to be
but he's
generous.
ignoring you. You can
Yeah.
say whatever you want.
Yeah, he's looking at something shiny.
Well, he's very motivating.
He is.
We did a video recently and we talked about wanting to do 10 push-ups after talking to him, and I think he motivated us in that way.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways,
Well, that was
Steph,
fun.
why don't you walk us out of?
Well, I don't
right.
know what to say except for, for a takeover that I really said it was going to be I was going to be the host, and then you immediately
He was going to be the hoist. That was a good. That was a good slip. I was going to be the hoist. Purposely stated. Don't change it.
And what I saw was, in that moment, the instructor realized that the student was not ready and grabbed the controls and took over.
That's right.
That's it. I am not ready.
Steph is the new podcast hoist.
No, yeah, the new podcast hoist.
Hey, Quinny, get your editor, put that title under there.
Hey,
Podcast
look who
hoist.
just walked through the door.
Uh-oh.
With the shiny
This is
secret.
trouble. Look at this. I wonder if that dress was in Iraq.
Wow.
That would be a good question to ask.
Hold on,
Was
hold
that
on.
dress in Iraq? Was that dress in Iraq? No.
I asked her, it's supposed to be pink, remember?
Oh, that's right. It was pink.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I guess we should. Well, we've been talking. It's funny. Tony just pointed out. It doesn't. It seems like we just started talking,
know.
but we've owned this thing for almost an hour now.
I know.
Well, one more Raz for the Real ResQ Podcast.
Yeah.
Jack, why don't you lead us out? Like, if you were going to say one funny thing about the Real ResQ Podcast, what would that be?
Well, if you really like the sort of thing of jumping out of helicopters into water, I mean, who's stupid enough to do that? I guess the Real ResQ Podcast is right up your alley. But if you're looking for some real solid interviews, the Hangar Z Podcast is the way to go.
All right.
Yeah.
But I'll go that. If you think that trusting your life to that pencil thin wire is the way to go, then you should absolutely listen to the Real ResQ Podcast.
That's right.
Anything else?
How's it going?
Hey, I just want to say that, Quinny, the podcast is doing great. I'm proud of you. But if you were as good a rescue swimmer as you say you are, you would have been on The Guardian, and I did not see you in The Guardian.
That's true.
I saw Bob.
Oh my God.
That's a good way to end it.
Quinny, we love you. Thank you for allowing us to take over your podcast. We'll catch you next time.
See you, Quinny.
Cheers.
Holy shit! Oh my God! What is happening here?
I'll send this to you too, so you have so
okay.
you can match it up if you want.
Okay, I like that.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not
Yeah.
too much.
All right, so I'm gonna let you guys take this over here in like 30 seconds. Well, maybe a minute or so. So the first question is, all right, you guys gotta tell me who you are and where you're working.
There you go first. This
Go.
is your,
Hey, well, it's a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me onto this, whatever it is. I'm with Onboard Systems, previously Collins Aerospace, but man, we just put on this convention. I have a bunch of people I just met, friends that I used to know, and I'm just really excited to be here.
I love it.
thanks for having us. This is totally impromptu, right? So Jesse Peterson, VX31 Search and Rescue.
And you've been on this podcast before.
Yeah. That was pretty. I can't remember my number though.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You were here.
Yeah. Thanks for that opportunity, by the way. That was really neat to
Hell
kind
yeah.
of relive that and hash that out. Any PTSD effects that that was my therapy session. Really cool. So, but anyway, super excited to be here, and iron sharpens iron, right? And so, what a great venue that this is, and not just to improve or master, our craft and all that stuff, but to learn new things and just to share amongst friends.
Love
It's
it.
really cool.
Yeah, man, you've definitely done this before.
Right? Yeah, he's experienced. So Cody Berg with Air Rescue Systems. We're all prior Navy, so we got to talking, we got to drinking, and then we decided to come play with your toys.
You
so.
do realize you're sitting with a coastie, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
snap.
Oh yeah. We're gonna make
Huddle
fun
jumper
of you.
right here.
Yeah, we're gonna
Let's
make
go,
fun of you
Squids.
later. We'll make fun of you later, but right now we're all happy just to play with the
I love
machines.
it.
So
I
yeah.
love it.
Hey, by the way, man, I didn't think I'd ever meet you, but I've been listening to your podcast, I think on like episode 3. Like,
Well, that's a good start.
yeah,
Wait until you get to Jesse.
yeah.
Hey.
And man, it's an honor to meet you. It's a pleasure to be
Thanks,
here.
man. You
And,
too.
I'm
I love
really
it.
excited to be a part of this.
Right
So,
on.
yeah,
Well, I
man.
appreciate you being here. All right, so that was question number 1. Question
Yeah.
number 2 is what was the last rescue you guys were on? Have you done any rescues?
So I wasn't part of a rescue, but it was actually part of I ended up getting called. I was on my SAR, like my final SAR card as a student.
Yep.
So I was at HSC 84. I was with Grayson Young. Yeah, it was a bunch of guys. Leon? And anyways, we ended up getting called, and I was supposed to go through all the steps on a pretend card, right? I'm getting qualified to go on deployment, and then I thought they were gonna go over the ICS. And they're like, all right, we have a down F-18 pilot, whatever standard scenario. And then I hear it, but it's over the radio. It's like we have a semi-truck gone over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Like, we're asking for, and again, I'm over here pretending like I know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, the pilot, I forget the name, but Dalo, Mr. Dalo, he ends up looking back. He's like, "Uzaz, you have all your fucking gear, right?" It's like, "Yeah, I mean, this is my SAR card. What do you want from me?" And then I was like, "No, this is for real, man. Get your shit together." I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And then we ended up getting sent out to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Unfortunately, the scenario was that the guy had perished, and it was a semi-truck, and it had been floating for a while. And then the Coast Guard, we ended up beating the Coast Guard, Beluga, whatever it is you guys are. We ended up beating them to the stack. Again, because of the pilot in command, he was like, "We gotta fucking go," and we get in, and I just remember seeing the stack getting like 4 or 5 people up. Yeah. I was like, "I can't believe we're fucking here." He's like, "Are you ready to deploy?" But yeah, that was my first call. I was never part of any rescues. I was never.
Are you telling me that was your first call and last call?
My first call. The only other call I got was when I was on deployment. Some ass, because some asshole ended up putting a float coat on a trash bag, and they sent it over. They deep sixed it, so we're on like our alert 60, and we ended up spinning up, and we ended up going out. And
you had to go get the trash.
Yeah, it was just a piece of trash. Yeah.
Oh, it's like, that's hilarious.
So no, man, you've had a lot of distinguished rescuers. You've had a lot of distinguished people on here. I just was in for a couple years, had a good time, and
dude, we all just love to hear a story. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good story, yeah.
Dude, thanks for sharing, man. Jesse, come on, man. What was your last one?
I don't recall if it was in February or January. It was either way. Death Valley. Slot Canyon climber was trying to ascend, either ascend or descend, but of course slipped off a rope, had a whipper, and then broke his femur. That's not how it came. Well, actually, in the immediate, I'm sitting there in the shop, like, oh yeah, we're getting a call, whatever, it's nothing, And then it seems to progress as the information keeps flowing in. Oh, now it's a broken leg. I'm like, it's probably like a twisted ankle or something like that. Then after that, it's like, oh, no, it's a broken femur. Wait, what? So, I'm trying to remember, Ted Burns was our SMT of the day, our medic for the day. And then I said, if it's really a broken femur, let's go ahead and add on a paramedic, And so we got Aaron Kidd. We threw him on there as well. I tried to get in some more, another SMT, one of our new nuggets, Jesse Jewell, because I just wanted to, I'm a big fan of like training, real life training, right? But we couldn't really swing that in the moment. Like he's qualified to just sit there right now, right? But great guy, motivated guy. Anyway, it's my type of rescue, my favorite type of rescue. It's getting towards sunset, so I'm like, everybody grab all your night gear, just in case we're here. I grabbed goggles, and then also it was fair weather. My favorite type. No wind. It was just beautiful weather.
Yeah,
perfect. Not
buddy.
A cloud in the sky. Yeah, we boogie on over there. It was about a 20-minute transit from the base over to the Slot Canyon over on Death Valley, just south of Badwater Canyon. We did a couple recce passes, found him right away. I guess he was using his phone, the new satellite feature, on iPhones, I guess, or Android.
Yeah.
So he was talking to somebody via that way. Let's see, did a couple of passes, excess power. We probably had like 30% power, so we probably could have hovered upside down or something like that and done this rescue. But it was deep. I will say on the initial insert, we just kind of we're like, all right, excess power. Let's go ahead and we'll nose it in. We'll accept no wave off. That's totally against the rules of everything you ever were taught, right? But like, wait, we got excess power. So we did it. Pushed in there. We actually repelled with litters, and I had my medic go in first without, just his med bag, his quick bag, so he can get hands on the patient right away. And then I sent down the second medic. My Hira, that's who it was, Tyler Williamson.
Nice.
He's an AW. So sent him down. He's a rescue swimmer. And he went down with all the rest of the gear. When they got down there, apparently I had no idea, but there's leaves down there and growth in these little springs, and they have these like fiberglass cactus. So they. This is later on when they come into the aircraft. It was just a doggone mess when they come into the aircraft. So, but anyway, man, it was really cool. Yeah. So they got down there, they packaged them up, and we came in first. We did a down canyon approach, hoisted in. I didn't know. I thought I was going to have plenty of cable. I used all 200 foot of my cable.
Holy
yeah.
shit.
And I actually had to lower the aircraft down. So I was telling these guys, hey, this was on a Goodrich hoist, you know. So kudos to onboard systems and Goodrich. I got to get.
There you go.
It's not Goodrich anymore. It's onboard systems.
Yeah, onboard systems.
Onboard
Yeah.
systems.
Product tie-in.
So great hoist. Sent it down, and they hooked in. We just hooked into the litter. Aaron Kidd, he hooked into it. It was a dual harness to litter. Picked them both up. We flew them out, did a dynamic hoist recovery, brought them in. And one of my techniques is I use the pilot to toggle down and hoist in when I'm pulling the litter in, so I can have both my hands on the litter. Well, this hoist, we need you to fix it. No, it's not as smooth as I thought it was going to be, and he really had a legit broken femur. That's the first time I actually brought in a patient, and as soon as I said, "All right, pilot, hoist down," it went down pretty fast, and it banged on the side of on the cabin floor. And dude, his
Lit up.
face was like next to my face, and he was yelling. Right, he's like,
Oh,
you
dude.
could hear, over the ICS, over the engines and the rotor head and everything, man. So, anyway, but as fast as it started, 3 seconds later, quietness. He's just like, makes the face. He's yeah. And then he gives us the AOK thumbs up. He's like, I'm good. I'm like, oh, thank God. I felt so bad. Anyway, so, brought him in, tucked him in, and then I had to go back for, pick up my other rescuer. So just nosed it in again, or came in the opposite approach, just like the deployment, nosed it in, picked him up, just a static hoist in place. It was really quick, which I probably should have done to begin with, because that turned out to be like more like 150 feet instead of the whole 200 feet. It was a lot easier.
Damn, man.
Yeah, so we boogied on out to the hospital. We were trying to decide. We think we messed up. We probably should have went to a L1, level 1 to Vegas. And what happened was we had some confusion as where his car and family was, and we ended up going to Ridgecrest. And they were mad at us. Why did you bring him here? And serves them right,
We can't treat that. No,
so I'm pretty sure he was just glad that he was good to go, and he was getting that higher level of care, and he was out of the slot canyon and home safe. But that said, if I have to, it's a learning lesson, right? Everything you ever do, it was as I will say.
Forward.
Yeah.
Fail forward.
Fail forward.
Fail forward.
Yeah. Dave Weber.
Yeah.
There we go,
so-
Dave.
Everything it was textbook as I feel like as it could get up to that point, to where it was difficult, but it was super easy. But it's a testament to standardization, training, repetitions, reps and sets, learning from all the different entities out here, agencies, and how they're hoisting. Like back in the day, that would have been a tagline for me. Taglines are good. In this case, probably not so good because it was vertical, right? So in this case, I'm like, thank God that the Navy, went towards dynamic hoisting and allowed me to do that, because that was the appropriate time, the appropriate tool at the appropriate time.
Right on.
So I was very thankful that I could employ that. That's really about it, man. Really cool rescue. Really easy, complex, but again, made simple because all the training, the people that taught me, and all you guys, that put out this information, whether it's through the Real ResQ, whether it's through on social media, and it's just really cool. Actually, I'm switching gears here. It's just cool to be here because this is a room full of passionate people who just want to do one thing: be better and save lives.
Totally.
Like the money doesn't matter, But
it does. But
that's your point. Yeah.
Wait.
I know what you mean, dude. I got you.
I don't know how to recover from that, but no, truly cool, and I hope that this can grow. It needs to grow.
Me too.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's all I got.
Dude, I appreciate you sharing that, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's
I
pretty.
don't know that we need any more after
Yes,
that.
we do.
Shoot.
All right. So, what was your last one, man?
All right, so first off, I'm trying not to fangirl too much because
Oh shit!
love
whatever.
this show. This is
All
great.
right. Well, you know what? I appreciate it, and so does everybody else. Like, that's why we listen to it.
Absolutely, that's why I listen to it. So my last, it wasn't a rescue. It was a search while I was on active duty. This was New Year's Day 2019. A tour aircraft out in Hawaii didn't report back on time. Got past sunset, so this would have been, probably 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night on New Year's Day. Didn't report back, so we got launched to go and look out in Hawaii. It was a CFIT. We looked. We were searching the water. We were searching the beach. They found him in the morning. That was my last one while I was on active duty. It's kind of a downer, but that was, the last big event that I did while I was on active duty. And then once I joined ARS, I haven't really done a whole lot of rescue stuff. Done a lot of training stuff.
Man,
And
I
so
would've-
that's
I
a
would've-
lot of fun.
I would have loved to have a last one. I never
Yeah.
had a first one.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. We heard your first one.
Yeah, but I didn't have I mean,
Oh, see, now you. No,
at the end of the day,
you can't
like
take it back.
you want to save someone's life. You don't want to be the
Well,
guy
yeah.
that's responsible for a body recovery. I mean,
Yeah.
and
No,
I wasn't.
get it.
And honestly,
I get it.
At the
That's
end of
getting
it,
people home.
we couldn't even
Yeah.
get the guy out because it took like a welding team or what is it? It took people to come in with torches to try to get the guy
Oh,
out.
dang.
Yeah,
Wow,
so
okay.
it was a thing.
Wow. It's part of what we do.
It is.
And everybody in this room will understand that.
Right.
Yep.
And
So-
that's what I mean. I wish I would have had a first one, but I never did.
All right. That's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's okay.
But
You were there.
I was. That's one thing I could say.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. I appreciate all the senior guys that helped me out. Everyone that I've gotten to meet, people I keep meeting again. It's a small community.
It is.
And I never thought I'd be on the side of being the guy that works with the hoist, wears that company on my shirt. But man, it's a pleasure to still be here
That's
and get
cool.
to talk to you guys. And this again, like he was saying, not trying to fangirl too much, man. But
Dude, you guys are funny,
no,
man.
no way, man. I would have thought I'd be on this. So thank
That's
you.
awesome, dude. I appreciate you. All right, ready? I got one more question, and then
Yeah.
you guys get to take this over, okay? And then you can
Shoot.
talk whatever you want,
We'll
all
let
right?
Jesse do that.
So the next question is going to be, I want you to really think about this. In all the training that you've ever done, what is the funniest thing that's happened to you in that training? I know, right?
I mean, I don't have to think about it too much.
Okay, hit me.
So the first thing that comes to mind, and it's probably not that funny if you're listening to it, but I remember being at boot camp, and you know how they do like fashion shows.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, you're, all right, dress whites, dress blues, whatever. And I remember getting into my Cracker Jack, my dress whites in boot camp, so no one knew how to do your neckerchief.
Yeah.
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 So you're trying to figure that shit out, and you're too busy. Did I shave all my whatever? So I remember they kept on dropping everyone, and they'd ask them, or they'd check their uniform, and then they'd ask them a question like, "Commander of the United States Navy wears what on his dress sleeve uniform?" They're like, "Oh, I don't fucking know." And they drop. Right? They were dropping people either for their uniform or for not getting the question right. And they finally get to the guy that's next to me, and they're like inspecting him, and they're like, "What the fuck is up with your what's going on with your neckerchief?" And he's like, "Oh, and I don't know what the RDC and what he was thinking, but he was like, "You know what that neckerchief looks like?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know, petty officer." He was like, "Petty officer, I'm a chief." He's like, "I'm sorry, petty chief." He's like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "You know what that looks like?" He's like, "No, I don't know." He's like, "It looks like a dick coming out of a pussy." And I was just like, and it wasn't that funny, but at the time, he comes to me, he's like, he asked me my question, and I was like, "I don't know, Chief, I'm still mind fucked from what you did to the last guy." And he was like, and he almost broke, and he was like, "Drop," and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna suck." And then they did the whole thing, and it was a bad day, but that was
That's
probably
pretty funny,
one
dude.
of my more memorable. And there's a bunch of cool things, but this is the first thing that came to mind.
That's pretty funny. What do you guys got?
Oh, I know you got some fun ones, but so the best one I got, the one that I still remember to this day, we were out on doing workups, getting ready to go on cruise.
Yeah.
And we were bored. We were out flying because we had to be off the boat, and we were patrolling the area, quote unquote. And we got bored, so we flew up to 10,000 feet, threw a roll of toilet paper out the aircraft, and just followed it all the way down. Like 20 minutes it took to get down, from 10,000 feet down to the ground, and we followed it all the way down, just giggling like schoolgirls the entire damn time. And it sounds lame when you talk about it, but it's still one of my core memories that I've got with these two pilots, because it was me and them. I'm sitting in the door just taking pictures, and we're all just giggling our asses off, spiraling down from 10,000 feet down to sea level. It was great.
All right, that's pretty funny. I like that. That's good.
That's wild, because I was thinking about the same thing, and only I did it with a bag of, how on the ship, you pack up your trash.
Yep.
So we had a bag of trash, and we brought it up with us. Same thing, 10,000 feet. We threw this thing out, and I threw it out the right-hand side, and then we lost it. As we're descending down, we're like, where the heck did this go? We're like,
wait, you threw a toilet paper out at 10,000 feet, and then
it's think of a paper
I
bag.
can't hear you.
Sorry, think of a big old paper bag like the size of me,
Okay.
and you throw it out.
Yep.
That's how the Navy throws out their ship's trash,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
Throw it overboard.
Yeah, and so we lost it. We were like, where did it go? And then we leveled out, made another right-hand turn. We almost hit it. So all of a sudden it goes, what?
1v1 versus the trash bag.
Yeah, so, there's so many funny things that, as you know, like that with deployments, just being in the military, and funniest things that you do during training, they're so numerous. It's hard to pinpoint one thing, all the way from double dragon pooping, and you can't land because the air boss won't let you land, or
what you said, double pooping dragon.
No, we're gonna go into this, and that's your story.
Absolutely. What the hell?
So
All right, wait. Now you got to speak into the microphone. We got to make sure we get this one.
I'm trying not to stutter my way through this. So, norovirus is a thing in the Navy.
Okay.
And maybe Coast Guard gets it too every now and then, but like these Navy.
Is that something on the boat?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I was in Airedale the whole time, and I was on land the whole time.
Yeah, it was. I'm in Airedale, but we deploy on the boats.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I think I only logged like 32 days on a boat.
Yeah. So
you know what? I will take puddle jumper all day long. You can call me that. I don't go past my knees. What the hell?
So yeah, those 6 to 9 months deployments on the boats. We're in a carrier strike group with aircraft carrier and a bunch of support ships. Norovirus would go through the fleet. So we called it the double dragon, because you are not controlling what's coming out of your mouth or what's coming out of your ass.
God.
And so this one evolution that we were doing, it was we had to be in the air. All 3 of the crewmen were sick. All 3 of the crewmen had this norovirus. We could not control what was coming out, but we still had to fly. And there was some real world ops going on, so we had to have an armed presence in the air. So we had a 50 cal ammo can in the back, and if somebody felt the need, it was okay. Hey, strip off your gear, strip off your flight suit, make the proper deposit, throw the garbage bag out, put a new garbage bag in, get ready for the next evolution. And it was
my God, dude!
Damn. The double dragon. This was way back in the day. Things have changed a little bit since then, but that's my happy thought.
Yeah, if you're pooping, you're throwing up, in the bucket. So it's both sides. It's bad.
Oh, norovirus is awful. It's terrible.
Holy shit! Literally.
Yes, quite literally. Yep. Because it was either that or go outside just use the hellhole in the aircraft, and then just streak the entire thing and get screamed at when you land on deck. So it's easier just to fill a garbage bag and get rid of it at the end of the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but to come back to funniest things during training, this may sound torturous to the rescue tech, but man, I can't. You ever have your buddy that gets hurt, and you start laughing?
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
like when they
Yeah.
start spinning.
Yeah, it's just not me.
When they're spinning out of control.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, just hold on, buddy. I'll and that, it doesn't happen as much anymore, right? Because we've figured out how to mitigate those things.
Right.
But yeah, back in the day, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna set you down, or you rappel so fast, you hit the deck so hard,
Yeah.
and they're like, are you okay? Or,
Dumbass shouldn't have done that.
or before we had like Axinus or AWIX, you tap on your. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Thumbs up. You can see him from 200 feet down. Like, oh my gosh, thank God. Now we can laugh about it. But yeah, other than that, yeah,
Oh, shit,
I know
that's
that
funny.
probably wasn't too comedic, but yeah.
No, it's funny to me, dude. Oh my God. I'm so glad you guys came on and told this. This is awesome. I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys have the mics. You let me know when you're done. That's all I need from my end. I appreciate you guys,
Hey,
man.
thank you for letting us play with
I
your toys,
appreciate you,
Jason.
man. Keep
Appreciate
doing
it.
what you're doing, and hopefully you'll get many more episodes, many more stories, and hopefully they continue to enlighten like everything that the Coast Guard, Navy, whoever's doing these things, Air Force, PJs, whoever, because it really does make a difference. I had no before I had this job, before I was working with the hoist, I was interested in seeing what was really happening and what's still happening out there. And I appreciate what you're doing, and keep
pleasure.
it up. And I wish you the best.
Thanks.
And,
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. I really came up as a joke. Just say, hey, I'm gonna take a selfie here, with all your gear, your podcast
Joke.
stuff.
You silly goose. You got tricked into it.
Yeah.
Surprise.
We're up there, just having a drink, and like, hey, let's go down there and let's put his stuff on and act like we're doing a podcast. Yep, here we are.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Hey, here we is. Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad you guys said yes. Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for letting us play, Jason. Appreciate it.
Anytime. We'll see you guys. It was a phenomenal, epic night with SR3 Rescue Concepts and them hosting the debrief after the onboard systems hoist and winch conference at the beginning of VAI VERTICON 2025 in Dallas. Wow, that was a mouthful. I am so happy that we had a couple people come on and just share a few stories. It was an absolute pleasure to see so many familiar faces and people that were there at the debrief. So thank you all for showing up and doing that with us. It was an epic time. All the other stories that didn't make the podcast, that didn't get recorded, were talked about on the floor. Yeah, I spent at least a couple hours talking to so many of you guys, everybody out there, telling me stories about what's going on. Just none of them made it onto this recording. Anyway, we'll save those for next time. So thank you guys for listening to everything that we put out here. And I am going to continue to get people on here because everybody has loved these stories. So enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Go. Now it's time for me to pull chocks and take off. But before I go, I'm always looking for the memorable rescues that people have done. If you have one that you're willing to share or know somebody who has a story, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to highlight it here at the Real ResQ. For everybody that is standing by for that SAR alarm, remember, those in distress are praying for a miracle. They are going to get you. So until next time, fly safe and swim hard. Thank you for joining me today here at the Real ResQ Podcast, powered by Vertical Helicast. We'd also like to say thank you to our sponsors for this episode. Ready Bar, originally made for astronauts, now designed for first responders and built for you. This high-performance meal bar provides complete nutrition without the sugar crash. A must-have for any helmet bag, swimmer bag, or everyday pack. Get yours today at getreadybar.com and use the promo code RESQ10 for 10% off. Ready Bar, zero crash, all fuel. TheRealResQStore.com, your shop for all your podcast-worthy gear. From comfortable shirts to cozy mugs, we've got everything to showcase your love for your favorite podcast. So what are you waiting for? Head to TheRealResQStore.com and let your gear do the talking. And attention all rescue professionals and tactical athletes. Ready Swimmer and The Real ResQ have teamed up to bring you the ultimate solution in tactical athlete training. Developed by military rescue professionals, Our team boasts over 60 years of combined experience. Elevate your performance, both physically and mentally, with our individualized programming. Contact us at ReadySwimmer.com or through therealresq.com and unlock your full tactical athlete potential. The question is, are you ready?
I'm not going to bore you guys, but thanks for coming. It's awesome to see everyone, and we're going to give some stuff away. I'm done. Thank you.